to Whining About Herstory, where wine is flowing like the blood in a horror movie and the patriarchy is the real monster under the bed. We're going to keep it real this Halloween with stories of women who slayed, sometimes literally. I was laughing at my own really dumb joke.
I love it. Keep going. I'm so proud of you.
It's time to light your black candles, pour your darkest red, find your Ouija board, and get sheet-faced with us. Because we're whining about herstory, the women's history podcast, where longtime gal pals whine about women from history you definitely should have heard of, or sometimes during this season, maybe not. I'm Kelly. I forgot the beginning of our normal intro. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm Emily.
Oh, that you definitely haven't heard of.
Oh,
but you should have.
But should have. That you probably haven't heard of, but Dev should have.
Except for during Halloween. Except maybe you're like, I didn't need to know about that.
I mean, honestly, my woman, hers is a story that needs to be told, but I think we're all going to be worse off for it.
Oh, that's fun.
Just emotionally.
Mine's more just like general spooky knowledge, which is fun.
I love that. So my story, I thought it was going to be one thing. I thought it was going to be one very simple, archetypical story that we have done on this podcast during Halloween before, and it violently spiraled out of control. So yeah. That's just like a little preview.
Okay.
Yeah, but what are we drinking to get us through this spooktacular episode?
So we're drinking something we drank like 3 or 4 years ago and we fell in love with and then couldn't find it.
God damn it.
Yeah. It's just called the Witch's Brew. It's red wine with spices added. And it says, a layered and aromatic celebration of traditional mulling spices. This distinctive red blend can be enjoyed warmed or devilishly hot or room temperature, because that's what we're doing. So it says, if warmed, warm the coldest and darkest nights throughout the year. Drink up, witches.
Love it. So this is a seasonal wine. It's one in a series because they also have a green apple, and
I think they have like a Frankenstein-based one.
You're thinking of 19 Crimes. They have the other one is like pumpkin spice.
Oh, that's right.
Which we
will not get.
Yeah, we didn't. Here's the thing. I have no problem with pumpkin spice. You know, get your PSL on. As a wine, I don't know if pumpkin spice is where it's at.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to spend money on a whole bottle to find out that we were right the entire time.
Yeah. We did buy the apple one, but we're drinking just the traditional red today.
Yes.
Because we've been waiting years for this.
This is like a beautiful mulled wine. It's delicious. It's seasonally appropriate. I think I actually remember the last year we drank it, I think it was in 2021. And the only reason I say that is because I went to my friend's place for Thanksgiving. And because of the relationship I was in, that was a very dramatic Thanksgiving. And I basically ran to my friend's house to escape. Yeah. And she also had this wine. And I got, first of all,
again,
sheet-faced. But no, first she was like making me old fashions, and then I finished getting drunk on this wine, and we had just had it. Nice. And so I was super excited. So I'm like drinking this wine and drinking old fashions while watching like Studio Ghibli movies and just feeling so cozy and like wonderful.
Yeah, you were like, I needed to feel better, and this is working.
This is literally everything I needed at this moment.
That's awesome.
Yep. Well, Kelly, I think that we should give a special cheers to the Olmsted County History Center, who just hosted us or invited us to be the MCs of their Creepy Dolls exhibit, which is running for the rest of the month of October. They're doing something a little different. I personally am a huge fan of it. It's basically they took a bunch of creepy or odd or even like relatively mundane objects out of the archives, and then they're like, but what if dolls were involved? And everything is like really uncomfortably creepy. And there's a body basket. It's a wicker casket, y'all, and it is the casket of the future.
Yeah.
No more biodegradable eggs. It's all wicker from here on out.
I think we should also shout out the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner because it was a woman.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
It was, let me scroll back up, Maria Corina Machado, who is like Venezuelan leader trying to like kind of save the people of her country. It's pretty cool. Look her up.
Good deal.
So
Good deal.
to the History Center and Maria.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good
Ooh.
clink.
We have like, are these the wine glasses I brought?
I don't know. This one has my initials on it, so probably not.
Okay.
But that one might be.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I brought some stemmed wine glasses over that I never fucking
It's
use.
better than I remember, which is good. It's going to be very sad if it was worse than I remembered. It's better.
It is.
It's so good.
It really is.
I might have to go buy another bottle just for me.
I might.
You have your own already.
I know, but I can use more. I can always drink more, Kelly. The fact that you don't know that.
Just DoorDash more.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when I've looked for this wine before, I have shown like people pictures. I've described
and people
it.
like just act like you're crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your website literally says you carry this. Do not look at me like I'm the asshole.
Right. You're like, I'm showing you this picture from your website.
And here's the thing. I'm not expecting whoever's working at the liquor store to have an encyclopedic knowledge of everything they carry.
No.
I am expecting them not to look at me like I'm asking for something fucking stupid.
Right.
I'm not going in there and being like, hey, do you guys have adult diapers at this liquor store?
Right, exactly.
That's the look they're giving me where they're like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they look at you like you're being like a Karen or something, and you're like, I am politely asking you if you stock this wine that the internet says you stock.
Or if and they're always like, I've never even heard of it. I'm like, your store literally is supposed to be selling it.
Right.
Like, that's fine if you don't know it, or maybe this store didn't have it, but don't look at me like I'm an asshole.
Yeah, like, don't be rude about it. Like, there's no reason to be rude about it.
And I know that this is what people who aren't nice say, but I'm like so nice. Kelly, you know me in stores. I'm like disgustingly nice.
Like, I think, like, and for me to even just go and ask a person if they carry something is a big deal. So then when they're rude to me, I'm like, this is why I don't ask people.
It's like, you are why I have these issues and I don't ask for help.
It's your fault.
What is your name? Because I want to include it in my rant when I have a mental breakdown about this later.
I need to tell my therapist specifically who you are.
Exactly. I need
so they can be like, why do you not seem to be getting better about this?
I'm going to be journaling about this later, and I need names.
Yeah, exactly.
I need names.
My list needs to be accurate.
Oh my God. My records, for the historical record, I need to know who was a bitch to me at the liquor store.
Yeah, exactly.
So that when my journals are archived, everyone's gonna know
this person.
That this bastard, whose name was probably Josh, that's it. I was like, oh my God, there were a bunch of J names going through my head. I'm like, none of them are right.
Josh.
Your name probably was Josh.
Probably.
All right. Well, I am starting us,
Yay.
which is great because my episode is titled First of Her Kind.
Oh, there you go.
So today I am whining about a Minnesota maven. I decided to get all local. And I am whining about Anne Belansky.
And that's a very like Minnesota name.
It's Polish, and yes. So huge shout out to Christine Seifert and her article, The Minnesota Murderess, #spoilers, which was hugely helpful and like really beautifully written. She did an amazing job. She is one of the reasons that this story became very different from what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So being the first person to do something is exciting. Just look at any YouTube comment section. You'll see users proudly declaring first.
People
Exactly.
still do that.
I don't know if it's as big of a deal anymore. I think also because comments are sorted based on
Like
likes and
stuff,
replies, like the actual engagement. So even if there is a first, it's like way at the bottom and no one's going to see it unless everyone's
that
like,
used to be such a big
we're going to
thing.
bump this.
Yeah.
Yes. Remember poking people digitally?
Yeah, on Facebook.
God. All right. On this show, we've covered many firsts for women. The first woman to summit Everest, the first woman to run for president, the first woman to hold federal office in the United States. What's up, Jeanette Rankin? That was actually a joke on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Where Amy's character, she's quizzing these two little girls, and she's like, who was the first woman to hold federal office in the United States? And they both at the same time go, Jeanette Rankin. And I'm like, you damn right it was.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that made me happy. And I just finished rewatching some of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I was like, oh my God.
I need to do that. That's a good feel.
It's a
show.
great comfort show. There are very few episodes that I will skip because they don't necessarily give me the feels. But there are some firsts that are not to be celebrated. Sometimes the notoriety of being the first has
not a good thing.
deadly consequences.
Ooh.
Bum, bum, bum. Thunder Crash. Mary Ann Evarts Wright, better known as Anne if you nasty, was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina around 1820. We don't know.
Going back.
We're going back.
You don't often go back as far as I do.
Well, I mean, you do cover like the ancients. I feel like the 1800s is pretty par for the course for us. So we don't know much about her upbringing, but we do know that she was married.
Shocking that the only record is a marriage certificate.
Exactly. She and her first husband lived in Fayetteville, where he earned a living as a railroad.
You okay over there?
Chugga, 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 chugga. Words are hard. Railroad worker.
Okay.
God damn it. Tragically, though, he was killed in a railroad accident.
Oh.
I know. Damn it, trains.
How dare you?
You know, I bet it wasn't the
trains.
train's fault. I bet someone was like fucking around.
Yeah. Someone was doing something they weren't
and
supposed to.
he unfortunately found out. As far as I could find, they didn't have any children.
Okay.
Because no mention of her having children at that time or after that ever comes up. So I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
That's
fine.
The absence is on purpose. So now widowed, Anne moved to Pleasant Hill, Illinois.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
What's up, corn? I'm just going to say, I don't actually know where Pleasant Hill, Illinois is, but I can guarantee you it is not pleasant and there's probably no hill. It be flat, y'all. So she's living in Illinois, and then her nephew, John Walker, good old Johnny Walker, invited her to move to St. Paul, Minnesota, where he lived.
It's a village in Illinois.
That's how you know it's small.
It's in like the corner touching like the west, like the bump out on the west. It's in there.
Oh, like West Central?
Yeah.
It's in the pregnant belly of Minnesota?
No, it's in the pregnant belly of Illinois.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's like the bottom part of the belly. Yeah. It's in like
it's crowning.
Yeah.
It's crowning. Yep. Yeah. Western rural Illinois is a vibe in and of itself.
Yeah.
So
that's where we're at.
So she was probably pretty eager to get out of there when her nephew invited her to come and live with him.
Okay.
So John, who had lived in St. Paul for a few years now, was sick with typhoid fever, and with no family near, he hoped his now unattached aunt could care for him.
Yeah, kind of sounds like a win-win situation of like he needs a nurse and she needs a place where she can have like a male relative that's going to kind of keep an eye on her.
Well, and she can kind of start her life over. I don't think shit was happening in Pleasant Hill. I'm just saying, she's like, where's the hill?
Exactly.
I was promised a Pleasant Hill. It's like there's just fucking corn and soybeans for miles. Yeah, it's Illinois. That's what it is. Then why did you name it that? Well, it was funny.
Because we wanted to dream.
Yeah, because we thought it'd be funny. You know? It's like calling a big man tiny.
Yeah.
So Anne heeded the call, and in April of 1858, she moved to St. Paul, Minnesota, or as we affectionately call it, Pig's Eye. And that's where she worked as a seamstress while caring for her nephew. It is unclear if they lived together. Some reports say they did, while others claim Anne rented from a woman named Mrs. Harvey Davis. I think it's possible she lived with him for a time and then got her own place once she was more established and she's helping care for him. Ultimately, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, like semantics.
Yeah. So Minnesota would become a state in May of that year.
Yay.
So she's getting on the ground floor of a new state.
Heck yeah.
Perhaps she had hoped that this would be the fresh start that she needed. When John introduced Anne to a storekeeper, Stanislaus Belansky,
Jesus Christ.
it seemed that things were finally going her way. Hi, it's me, Stanislaus.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
So Stanislaus, if you couldn't tell by the name, was a Polish immigrant who had originally settled in Wisconsin. And in 1848, he came to his senses and moved to St. Paul.
better.
Yes. Stanislaus had a first wife. We only know about her because there was a second wife, Ellen. While we don't know what happened to the first wife, we do know the second wife divorced or abandoned Stanislaus, depending on who you ask, in 1856. You see, Stanislaus was kind of like Stan from Golden Girls. He was broke. He struggled with alcoholism and binge
shop
drinking.
owner?
We'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
He was just kind of a bum.
Okay.
Yeah. And any money he did have, he drank it away anyway. So again, substance abuse disorder is a serious health concern, and I have a lot of sympathy for it. Does not make for a good husband though.
No.
Yeah. So Ellen describes Stanislaus as jealous, cruel, and superstitious. Now Stanislaus,
That's like a bad combination.
right. So now with Ellen having gone, Stanislaus was alone. Well, I mean, not quite. Ellen left their 3 to 4 young children in his care.
Like, okay, if that person is as bad as you're saying he is, why would you leave your kids with him?
And I want to try and be sympathetic because a single mother raising multiple children at this time is incredibly difficult. Also, please do not leave your children with the crazy alcoholic.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's not going to be taking care of them.
Yeah. And again, it could have been more complicated than that. But so now he needs a mother for his 3 to 4 children because he sure as hell is not going to care for them. So that's when he met Anne. We don't really know what their courtship was like, but we know it was fast.
Well, and we know her brother introduced them, so they knew each other somehow.
Anne had moved to St. Paul in April. The next month, the Minnesota became a state, and then that September, she and Stanislaus were married.
Oh, wow.
Even if she had met him on the very first day that she had arrived in Minnesota, that is still only 5 months of dating.
Yeah, that's super short.
I know everyone has that relative or knows someone or has a friend who has a relative where they dated for 6 weeks and now they've been married for 100 years.
But a lot of people also have those relatives that they dated for 6 weeks and it ended horribly.
Exactly. I'm just saying, please date people for more than 5 months. You don't have to get married very quickly. You don't have to get married at all.
Yeah.
At this time, you kind of did, though. But as a woman in this era, Anne needed a husband. Her economic prospects were dismal at best, and in her late 30s, she was well past prime marital age.
Yeah, she was a spinster.
According to the University of Minnesota, the average marital age for women in the 1850s was around 21 or 22 years old. Ha! Damn it! Wait, no,
There's a fruit fly.
There's a fruit fly, and
it had nothing to do with her story.
I might have killed it. I'm
so proud of you.
I don't see it in my hand. Oh, there.
Jesus.
It landed on my keyboard and was struggling, and now it is dead. There is literally blood on my hands.
Emily kindly put it out of its misery.
Yeah. It was going to die in about 30 seconds anyway. So, I mean, I think it's appropriate that we kill something in at least one spooky episode this month.
I suppose.
Preferably,
and it might as well be a fruit fly.
Preferably a murder per episode, but you know,
we'll take what we can get.
We don't want to like make it unorganic. We just want to let the murders come as they do. So Anne was also an anomaly. At her age, she didn't have children. Now, it's possible she couldn't have them or that they passed away young, but it was certainly unusual for a woman of her advanced age not to have fulfilled the prime directive of womanhood.
How old was she?
Which was to be a mother. She was in her late 30s.
I'm laughing because you're like, the woman of advanced age. I know you're saying for then, but it like,
oh yeah,
that's our age, Emily.
Hey, I am approaching my mid 30s. Okay. I'm not even in my mid 30s yet. I have a few months. Let me enjoy my youth, Kelly. So, though Stanislaus wasn't wealthy, having purchased a claim to the land where he lived, he was regarded as such. So he was a landowner, which was a really big deal. It just didn't really translate into actual wealth.
Well,
but
it sounds
people
like he
treated
was
him with the
spending
respect.
a lot on drinking and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So people regarded him like he was wealthy because he was a landowner, and it gave him the appearance of a stable financial provider. He also had his own business.
It was all lies.
He ran like a grocery store and a bar. So like he's on paper, he's checking the boxes. I don't really know how Anne perceived him, if she was getting the whole story, if she was just desperate. And perhaps in Stanislaus, Anne saw an opportunity to rewrite her story. Instead of a childless widow, she could now be a wife and mother to 3 to 4 children.
Yeah.
I read in multiple places it was 3 to 4. I might have settled on 4 eventually, but I like the idea that they had 3 to 4 children. But you know, it's like, this is in one marriage, she's catching up on all this lost time. You know, she's got a husband who has his own business, owns land. That's great. She's got a bunch of kids now.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah, like she has stuff to do.
Yeah.
And
So we really can only speculate, but what we do know is that after marrying Stanislaus in September of 1858, Anne moved into his small cabin on what would become East 7th Street that doubled as a grocery store and bar, and began her new married life.
Okay.
For Stanislaus, however, things were business as usual. He continued to drink, which did nothing for his mood, which seemed to swing between depressive and angry. Girl. Relatable. It also did nothing for his health, as Stanislaus was frequently ill or super fucking hungover.
Yeah.
And when he was deposed, Anne ran the store and the bar, along with caring for the children and the household. Anne was reportedly a really good stepmother to the children, but it must have been really hard caring for them, the house, and the business, all while putting up with her husband's drinking binges and temper.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't know if I included this in my notes, but Stan's doctor said like he was a hypochondriac, but he was actually in relatively good health. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think the doctor was like, nah, he's just like drinking all the time. Like, it's not a big deal.
Well, back then, they didn't probably understand everything drinking does.
Exactly. But he did go to the doctor very frequently because one,
he
feels like shit and he was a hypochondriac. But Anne wasn't alone. Her nephew, John Walker, moved into the 2-room shanty behind the modest Belansky cabin. Perhaps this was because he had no other family. It doesn't seem he had a wife. He was also struggling with typhoid fever, and if he had no other family to care for him, it would make sense for him to stay close to Anne.
Yeah.
This may also help explain why he asked to move her to St. Paul in the first place. While I can't imagine any shanty is like a great environment for fighting illness, it was probably better than nothing.
Well, especially when like loneliness can play a big impact on it too.
Mm-hmm. And you have a caregiver right there because now she's working and raising up to 4 children. She doesn't have time to like schlep across the city and go and like take care of him. So it is a lot more convenient for him to be close by.
Yeah.
Also, this is like in the first couple of months of Minnesota being a state. I'm pretty sure nothing was super cozy and well established. Yeah. So maybe shanty was just like their term for cozy. I don't know. So in February of 1859, Stanislaus' health took a turn for the worst. Already a frequently ill man, Stanislaus began experiencing fevers, vomiting, and other signs of a stomach illness.
Ew.
He tried to fight off the illness with alcohol and large quantities of Grafenberg pills, an over-the-counter patent medicine used to treat, well, everything from a hangnail to cancer, and was probably bullshit. I tried to figure out what was in those, but like most patent medicines, it was a closely guarded secret because you don't want to know. It's just like cocaine and wine and like turpentine.
Yeah, exactly.
So Anne cared for him, helping him to consume meals of soup and arrowroot. His condition only declined, and by March 6th, he was bedridden.
Oof.
By March 11th of that year, he was dead.
Oh, no. I mean, he kind of sounds like a terrible person, but still.
Yeah. So, but you know, illness.
Yeah, it still sucks.
Illness does not have a moral center. It can come for all of us regardless. Yeah. The final days of the 52-year-old's life were not pleasant. He was suffering from stomach cramps, an unrelenting fever, and he and Anne had just gotten into an argument. Early on the morning of his death, Anne had told her husband that she did not want to sleep next to him when he was sick.
Valid.
I think so. Stanislaus became angry as Anne went into the other room to rest. Stanislaus' oldest child, Benjamin, brought him a dram of liquor to help calm him, which it seemed to. And an hour and a half later, he was dead. I just want to know how many times that child brought his dad liquor because he was throwing a fucking tantrum.
Yeah. That's
now, granted,
kind of shitty.
He is literally dying. He is entitled to be crabby. Okay. Mm-hmm. But your wife not wanting to share a bed with you when you're already kind of an asshole and now you're a sick, drunk asshole.
Yeah.
That's valid. And she is taking care of him. She's just like, I cannot sleep right now. And she needs to rest because she's the only one who can do anything right now.
Well, and I'm sure she's like, I can't afford to get sick because
right?
then no one's tending the store. No one's tending the children. Like,
exactly. So after such a long illness, his death couldn't have been a surprise. Even the Ramsey County Coroner's Office conducted a routine.
I grew up in Ramsey County.
We know that county. Ramsey comes back. We will talk about the namesake.
Okay.
He's kind of a dick.
I'm sure he is.
To say it. Spoiler, in case anyone's surprised, a dude from the 1800s was kind of a dick. So,
I'm shook.
So Ramsey County's coroner's office conducted a routine inquest into Stanislaus' death, and after examining his body and interviewing friends and relatives, they determined that the cause of death was natural.
Yep.
Far from being treated as a grieving widow with 4 children to care for on her own, though, Anne was criticized for not having called a doctor in the hours before her husband's death. And not just from friends and neighbors, but in the local paper.
Holy shit.
Which I'm like, who has the time?
That's what I was thinking.
Or energy. But again, St. Paul was not then what it is now.
No.
It was like a small town, basically. It's still
probably back when it was still Pig's Eye.
It's still like a big little town, but it was even more.
Rochester is a big little town.
Yeah, but
St. Paul is a city.
I know, but people describe it as like it's a city with small town vibes. Like people know each other. I've heard that.
I've heard that about Rochester. I've never heard that about St. Paul. But that's fine.
Rochester can have small town vibes for sure. Like you run into people you know all the time. But at this point, St. Paul is like incestuous. Like everybody's up in everybody's business.
It's a lot of farm families and just different things. Yeah.
So having determined the death natural, Stanislaus was buried on Saturday, March 12th. By the next day, Anne was arrested for his murder.
Jesus Christ.
So what the fuck happened? On the evening of March 12th, one of the witnesses who had been interviewed as a part of the coroner's inquest, Lucinda Kilpatrick, had something to get off her chest.
Oh.
And it wasn't an ample bosom.
That's probably good. Sounds like it would be painful.
She told her husband that she had been with Anne on February 28th, not long before Stanislaus' death. The women were out shopping, and Lucinda witnessed Anne purchase 10 cents worth of arsenic.
Oh.
This, in and of itself, is not
She
suspicious.
committed a poison.
She did
an arsenic.
She did an arsenic.
Also, like back then, arsenic was used for so much shit.
Well, and that's what my next line is. This in and of itself is not suspicious. Arsenic was used as medicine, dye pigment, and most commonly as rat poison.
It's still used as rat poison.
Hashtag rough on rats. TM, TM, TM. But then Anne said something odd to Lucinda. She made a comment about her husband, quote, dropping away sudden. It wasn't until after the coroner's inquest that Lucinda made the connection. Or thought that she made a connection.
Right. Like,
I need context to dropping away sudden. Because obviously his illness was getting much worse.
Right.
So like, was his condition dropping off?
yeah.
Or, you know, it's...
Or were they talking and she was talking about him falling asleep? Or, you know, like, yeah, it's like depending on the context, that could mean so many different things.
So the police were notified of this case-cracking revelation, and Stanislaus' body was exhumed that Sunday.
Jesus Christ.
They moved quickly in Ramsey County in the 1800s. Upon testing, they found, quote, a trace that resembled arsenic. Conclusive! Damning! Irrefutable! But this testing actually wouldn't come until later.
No, jeez.
So Anne was arrested the same day her husband's body was exhumed based only on the story that Lucinda had told. In addition, her nephew, John Walker, was detained. You see, before even testing the body to find, quote unquote, a trace that resembled arsenic,
I like that it's not even like, yeah, it's arsenic. It resembles arsenic.
It's a small thing that may or may not be related to arsenic by marriage. So before they even did this testing, the police had decided what had happened.
Yep.
According to them, Anne was in love with her nephew.
Oh, God. Really?
She was in love with her nephew, John Walker, and was either having an affair with him or wanted to have an affair with him. Why else would he move into the shanty behind her marital home? It's not like women are expected to be the caregivers of all men within their proximity and families. There was just one obstacle to her nephew lust. Stanislaus. Determined to be with her nephew lover, Anne poisoned Stanislaus to get him out of the way.
I like that you still purposely are saying, like, I'm pretty sure you intentionally are including nephew every time you bring it up because it's
I am.
Guys,
I literally wrote.
Listen to yourself.
I literally wrote with her nephew / lover.
Yeah.
But Anne poisoned Stanislaus to get him out of the way and perhaps inherit a little money. Or maybe the business, or some other loose reason. Because again, dude was broke.
Yeah.
So as Kelly and I have so subtly alluded to, there are a few problems with this story. First, there were much better reasons for John to move into the shanty out back. He was sick, single, and needed help. He didn't have a designated mother or wife to take care of him. So, of course, he reaches out to
the only family he has.
The only female relative who doesn't have his own family or doesn't have her own family. Well, now she does, but she's at least in the same city.
Yeah, and she still is his family.
Exactly. The whole reason he had asked Anne to move to St. Paul was to help care for him. So why wouldn't he move closer to her? Because again, she's got a family in this business. She can't be schlepping around.
Well, it's one of those things that like if like it was probably like, oh, they have this shanty available versus like, you know, maybe if they didn't have it, he would have just been like, oh, I'll get an apartment closer to you. Yeah. So it's easy for you to come care for me. But it's like, oh, we already have a room available.
Exactly.
Come stay with us.
And that was so common for families to like double, triple up in one household like that. Also, if he's sick, he's probably not making a lot of money or working a lot. He might not have money to live on his own.
Yeah, exactly.
But Emily,
no, they're lovers.
Nephew lover.
That's the only option, Emily.
Absolutely. But Emily, you inquisitive little muffins are asking, what if John asked Anne to move to St. Paul because they were in love and the illness was a cover? Even if that were true, why would Anne
play, dude? Jesus.
Why would Anne then marry Stanislaus? Yeah. It's not like marrying him actually offered her or John a huge upgrade in living accommodations. Yeah. He also wasn't wealthy, so there was little financial motivation. If they were really doing this like super gross like incest thing, why would she marry him?
Yeah, like why would she bring attention to it?
Exactly. Like they would just like her and John would just be dating.
Yeah.
Okay. And keeping it on the low, or she would marry someone who could actually provide for the both of them.
Right.
And then murder that guy. Jesus. Okay, you cry into your wine glass, but people are fucked up. And they did find arsenic in Stanislaus' body. Even if the motive doesn't make sense, he was clearly murdered.
No. Like, we already mentioned arsenics and everything. He was taking this medicine that we don't know what's in it.
Okay, here's why I love you. Because you are fucking on board. Like, you get it.
Just like, Jesus Christ, no.
You fucking get it.
Like, if they were like, hey, there are, like, copious amounts of arsenic, kind of like in my last story where they were like, no, this is, like, definitely arsenic.
He's more arsenic than man.
You know, like, that's one thing. But when they're just like, well, there's, like, trace amounts of something that's kind of like arsenic, it's like, that's probably not enough to kill somebody.
The question really was, did they actually find arsenic in his body at all? They found, quote, a trace that resembled arsenic.
Well, also a trace.
Hardly definitive. Also, as I mentioned before, and as Kelly has mentioned, arsenic was used for a lot of things, including as a popular ingredient in patent medicines. And while we don't know the exact ingredients of the Grafenberg pills, likely because none of it was actually medicinal.
Or because maybe it contained arsenic and they didn't want people to know.
It was really common for patent medicines like it to include opium, mercury, and arsenic, any of which were not good to put in your fucking body. Yeah. And he was because he was a hypochondriac, he was over medicating with these patent pills. Yeah. So like a couple pills, maybe it's not going to be enough to cause real harm to you. But if you're like shoveling handfuls of these pills,
then that mixed with copious amounts of alcohol,
you're not even supposed to take real medicine with alcohol.
Yeah.
The alcohol was actually probably the healthiest thing he was taking.
Potentially,
but don't mix it with arsenic, bro. So this could explain why there might be a trace amounts of arsenic in his system. Perhaps the pills even contributed to his death if he was taking them in large quantities. Regardless of the pill's ingredients, arsenic was in fucking everything, including clothing, candles, candy, wine, and beer.
Really?
I'm sure he was drinking a lot of that too. Bro ran his own bar. It would have been weird for him not to have trace amounts of arsenic in his body.
Yeah.
It's like when they examine a crime scene and they're like, it's clean. Too clean. No one cleans behind the toilet.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's weird that it's so clean.
It's like it fucking reeks of bleach.
Yeah.
So regardless of everything that we have just said, Stanislaus' death was reclassified as a homicide on March 15th.
Oh God, it's one day before my birthday. I mean, like many, many years ago. Still,
the story takes place largely around my birthday and your birthday, and in Minnesota. And so I feel like this is
literally in the county I grew up in.
So I feel like this is really a love letter to us, written through history and tragedy. So the gripping mystery captivated the nation with newspapers reporting on the scandalous case. However, the mystery wasn't about who had done it, but rather why. The public and the papers had essentially made up their minds that Anne was guilty, but speculation as to why she would murder her husband of less than a year swirled into an uncontrollable tornado. An uncontrollable tornado of scandalous gossip. That was supposed to be a really badass sentence, and
it still was.
I biffed it
in a
so
different
hard.
way.
Here's the thing. This is why I'm a better writer than speaker, because someone reading this is going to be like, wow, swirled into an uncontrollable tornado of scandalous gossip. What a good
beautiful
line. And then I say it, and I'm like, uncontrollable twister of scandalous gossip. Of course, Anne's appearance was dragged along with her character.
I mean, like, even if they didn't think she murdered him, they probably in paper still would have been like, oh, the widow dressed in black. La, la. Like, they would have talked about her appearance.
100%.
They always do.
So Anne was tall, blonde-haired, and in her late 30s. Anne did not have the defense of youthful innocence. She had a low-pitched voice. Fucking relatable.
Like, are we talking about me right now?
I would not have survived in the 1800s.
I wouldn't either.
Protruding front teeth and a long nose. She was also outspoken, which didn't add to her popularity. I did find a website that purported to have a picture of her on it. I didn't totally believe it because she definitely, first of all, she's cute, like super adorable. Also, she looks more 1920s, like with the crimped hair, and she's got
didn't look right,
and she's got like short dark hair.
Okay,
so
and if people are saying like she's blonde, it's like things aren't adding up.
So it was either that photo is actually of her, and they were just like so bitchy that she looks nothing like that, or that photo is not actually her and it's being misappropriated as her. I didn't include it in the story because again, it felt very
you just
sus.
Never know. Yeah,
the story broke at just the right time. Americans were being entertained and horrified by the stories of Victorian era murderesses in England using arsenic to rid themselves of cruel or inconvenient husbands. I love inconvenient.
Yep.
This struck fear.
I mean, if men can put women in nut houses because we're inconvenient, we can murder them with arsenic. Fair's fair.
It's called equality, bitches. So this struck fear into men as they were confronted with the terrifying question: what if a wife was capable? Oh my
what if
God.
A woman was capable?
Hold on. I'm pouring more wine.
Here's the funny
I am
thing.
not drunk enough to be reading these notes.
We've talked about it before that women aren't viewed as like capable of committing murder. And what's funny is like it's been like centuries of people thinking that. And there's always like it always comes up when a woman murders and they're like, but are women capable of murder? And it's like, you're reading about Victorian women that killed people. What do you mean are women incapable of murder?
It's like, do you need me to stab someone right now?
Right. Like,
is that going to be the case study where I just start stabbing people? So
I'll start with you.
Men were confronted with terrifying questions. What was a wife capable of if she didn't need her husband anymore? What if there were consequences to being a bad husband? Okay. While the public had tried to condemn her, Anne still had a court trial. Anne's murder trial began on May 23rd, 1859. Again, this is all happening in the same year.
Okay.
Shit
moves fast.
Dude got sick in February, died in March. She was arrested the day after he was buried, the same day he was exhumed before he was even tested.
And shit got moved.
And now May. Okay. This is actually the longest break between events that we've had. March to May.
That's insane.
So her trial began on May 23rd, 1859. Lucinda Kilpatrick was a star witness. Mm-hmm. Lucinda, a young woman in her early 20s, described how she and Anne took a trip to the post office and then to the drugstore. There, Anne asked for arsenic to combat a rat problem in her home. However, the arsenic was too expensive, so she didn't buy it. You know, when I'm planning to murder someone, I get real thrifty with my murder weapon.
Oh, yeah.
I get real penny pincher.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm not going to waste my money on those bitches.
nope. So she didn't buy it because it was too expensive. And the pair then went to another drugstore where Anne was able to purchase arsenic for only 10 cents. Anne was open about having purchased the arsenic, claiming that it was for Stanislaus, who requested it as the rats were eating vegetables in the root cellar. In Minnesota, if you cannot keep your veggies safe through the winter,
you will die.
You will fucking die. So rats eating your food in the root cellar is a big deal. You don't fucking want to do it. Lucinda, who lived across the road and was a frequent visitor to the Belansky home, claimed that she had never seen a rat there.
Had you been down in the root cellar, so whatever your name was?
I'm also
Lucinda?
saying, I'm like, okay, but this is also like, that means the arsenic is working, right?
Also that, yeah.
Stanislaus' eldest child, Benjamin, the one who like brought his dad calm the fuck down liquor, would later testify that they indeed had a rat problem in the house.
Good.
Sorry that you personally did not see rats in the house. That doesn't mean there were no rats in the house.
Yeah, it's not like when you have a visitor over, you're not like, let's go down to the root cellar and see our rats.
And the rats probably aren't like coming up and saying hi and like running across your kitchen table.
No, they're eating your vegetables in the root cellar.
But then Lucinda's story became more damning.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
She claimed that Anne had originally asked Lucinda to purchase the arsenic because if her husband were to die, people would be suspicious of Anne. She added that after Stanislaus' death, Anne came to Lucinda begging her to say that she had purchased the arsenic. To this, Lucinda replied, "If they don't find arsenic in the stomach, they can do nothing with you."
I feel like Lucinda just wants attention.
Lucinda is not a girl's girl.
No.
She's not a sis.
No.
I would love to know when this conversation took place because let's remember Stanislaus died early Friday morning. He was buried on Saturday, and by then the coroner's inquest had determined that the death was due to natural causes.
Right, like everything happened real quick.
By that Sunday, she was arrested for murder. This was a weekend.
Yeah.
It was the worst fucking weekend ever. According to Lucinda, her husband, Andrew, had offered to sit with Stanislaus the night he eventually died, but Anne said, quote, there, quote, was no necessity for it.
Yeah, because she's there. Like, why do you need some random stranger in your house to sit with your husband?
Also, here's my question. Did he offer 3 times?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that is the Minnesota way. You have to offer 3 times because then you can only accept help the 3rd time it's offered. You have to deny it the
then
first 2
you
times.
don't feel guilty about taking the help.
This is the way. We don't make the rules. We just live within this frozen hellscape.
Yep.
In some accounts, Lucinda claimed that she never shared this information with the initial investigators because Anne was hiding behind a curtain, staring down at her menacingly during the interview.
The fuck, Lucinda?
This is some Scooby-Doo shit like no one else noticed. Pay no attention to the grown woman hiding behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Honestly, the more Lucinda talks, the more dramatic her story becomes.
That's why I'm like, I feel like she just needs attention.
So, enter a new character. Rosa Scharf, a local girl who worked as a housekeeper in the Belansky home, testified that she had witnessed inappropriate behavior between Anne and her nephew, John.
Jesus Christ.
She saw them giving suspicious glances to each other, saying, quote, sometimes in the expression of their faces and eyes did not, quote, look natural.
Okay, so she's reading into something that was probably nothing.
Anne was also reported to have been undressing in her room with the door open while John was in the house. Rosa confronted...
Wait, just like in the house in general.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Rosa confronted Anne about being so careless, to which Anne explained that she was used to John being around and didn't think much of it. Because it's her fucking nephew.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, he's not gonna like look at me and stuff, like whatever.
And I do understand that this is the 1800s and things that seem really insignificant probably had more significance at the time.
I still feel like they're blowing a lot out of proportion.
I agree. So Rosa reported that Stanislaus was jealous of John and the attention that Anne gave him. He claimed that she was not as kind and attentive to Stanislaus as she was to John and didn't act, quote, as a wife should. So Stanislaus is bitching about Anne not being a good wife.
Yep.
Stanislaus.
Yep.
The guy who's an asshole.
Exactly. And
who's getting
man,
drunk
like,
all the time.
She's not as nice to him as her cousin who's nice to her. Shocking.
Let's remember that by nature, Stanislaus was a jealous man, as his second wife described. He was also not a kind man. I imagine Anne was a better caretaker to her nephew, who was actually nice to her, than she was to her belligerent drunkard of a husband. Also, from my own experience, when someone is drunk and mean, you keep your distance, especially when they aren't feeling well. The last thing you want to do is set them off. So she's probably like not as attentive because she wants to stay out of the crosshairs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a self-protective thing.
And she's busy taking care of the kids and running the business and taking care of the household because whenever he's sick, he can't do it. And he's obviously very sick.
Yeah.
So maybe she just doesn't have the fucking time.
Right? Or energy or anything.
God.
Like,
Just take care of your kids, bro. So the most damning thing Rosa testified to was that after the funeral, while riding home together in a carriage, Anne said that Stanislaus, quote, must have taken poison. Okay. And that never came up in the coroner's inquest the first time?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the prosecution brought forward medical experts, including William H. Morton. Him, along with two other doctors, had conducted a postmortem examination of Stanislaus and claimed that there was a, quote, sufficient quantity of arsenic in his body to have caused his death. Okay. Here is some evidence.
I was like, that actually sounds more conclusive.
Okay, we have doctors saying, reporting on medical findings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because before it was just a trace amount of something like arsenic. If there are doctors saying there is a deathly amount of arsenic in the body, that's more believable, depending on the person.
However,
Yeah, I was like, there's going to be a but.
when cross-examined, Morton was asked to explain the result of each test that they had run on Stanislaus' body. He revealed that of the 5 tests that they ran, 2 were inconclusive, while 2 others were negative and
So of
found
the
no arsenic.
I feel like you can't say that then.
It was only the 5th and final test that was positive for arsenic.
It's literally like, geez, like what?
Yes. That's some bad science in the fact that it's not science at all.
No.
Morton also admitted that he had never done a toxicology test for arsenic before this case, making mistakes during one of the tests that may have affected the results.
You know, maybe like the one that came up different than the other ones, or the 2 that were inconclusive because you probably fucked up.
He finally admitted that sorry. Okay, this is a word that I wasn't used to. He finally admitted that antimony, which can sometimes be found in the stomach and cause severe stomach issues, can also produce lab results similar to arsenic. The newspaper reported antimony is the most common source of fallacy in Marsh's test. This is the test that they use for testing arsenic. It was very common at the time. It was the standard, but it was far from foolproof.
Yeah.
Especially when some guy who's never done it and fucks up 5 fucking times is doing it. And that illness by arsenic or antimony, quote, would be very nearly the same.
Oh, yeah.
The defense also found evidence that Lucinda, the one who had roused suspicion in the first place, had been sending romantic letters and gifts to good old Johnny Walker.
Wait, the nephew?
The nephew.
Wait, was she scorned by the nephew and just like made shit up?
Remember, Lucinda is fucking married. The defense argued that Lucinda's testimony was an opportunistic fantasy meant to get disapproving Anne out of the way so she could have her own affair with John.
Oh, that bitch.
Apparently, Johnny Walker was like the hottest piece of shit in all of Pig's Eye because everybody wants him or is jealous of him. So yeah, apparently everyone was just parched for Johnny Walker here.
I mean, it is a good boo. Booze. It's a good boo.
So when cross-examined by the defense, Lucinda refused to answer any questions related to her relationship with John, saying, I decline answering, or
I plead the fifth.
I am not prepared to answer this question.
I fucked up and got caught.
The letters,
That's the subtext.
the letters and gifts were not submitted into evidence as the judge ruled them inadmissible.
Jesus Christ. I don't like this judge. No.
No. There's such a plethora, a cornucopia, a cacophony
People to not like.
of fuck ups in this story. It almost feels like it has to be a conspiracy because it's hard to believe that this many trained professionals,
Or just like
educated
making
trade
shit
professionals are fucking up this badly and this consistently. Anyway, John Walker would himself take the stand. No charges were brought against him due to a lack of evidence.
He was arrested though.
He
wasn't
was
Okay.
detained.
Okay.
Because they suspected he was maybe a part of this murder plot, but they didn't have any evidence to connect to say like he knew about it.
How funny would it have been if like for some reason he did get arrested and then like the chick's like whole plan of like getting close to him backfire because he gets arrested for murder.
How funny would it be if he was actually the murderer the whole time and knew nothing?
Yeah,
And he's the only one who like gets away scot-free.
right.
So I don't actually think that's what happened.
No, probably not.
So he protested his aunt's innocence. He denied having an affair with Anne or with Lucinda, though he did admit that they had a falling out as friends recently.
Yeah, probably because she wanted to be more, and he was probably like, "You're married."
Probably because she's sending him letters and gifts. And these weren't alleged letters and gifts. They found the letters and gifts.
Like, they existed. The judge was just being dumb about
They
them.
just could not be submitted as evidence, so the jury was not presented them. So, yeah, she's probably getting like way too flirty. And he's like, girl, you're fucking married. Also,
You're fucking married. I have typhoid.
I'm so fucking sick all the time. I don't have the energy for this shit.
right.
So John also claimed that the reason Anne did not call for a doctor in her husband's final hours was because Stanislaus himself refused treatment, not wanting to spend the money. So that was the only thing before Lucinda starts flapping her gums that people were like, Anne's kind of a fucking bitch. How would she not call a doctor?
Right.
Because her cheap ass husband was
Told
like,
her not
don't.
to. Yeah.
And she's not going to incur his wrath.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
Oh my God. I'm like, girl, I feel you.
Right.
I feel this situation
Because
for
she's
you.
probably done it before where she's like, no, I'm going to call the doctor anyways, and suffered the consequences.
Which I also think is interesting because he was a hypochondriac and saw the doctor a lot, but I think he was
on
like
his terms.
But exactly. It's weird. So in the end, Lucinda came off as a pure moral woman while Anne, quote, seemed to be utterly devoid of all natural
Jesus
female modesty.
Fucking Christ. Like,
And-
how is that what people took away from this trial?
And even of common decency. So basically, Lucinda is this cute young thing, and Anne is like old and like not fuckable. After 5 hours of deliberation on June 3rd, 1859, the jury found Anne Belansky guilty
Yeah.
of first-degree murder. Now, the newly minted state had to decide what to do with their first ever murderess. Life in prison or the news? State-sanctioned murder. The same year as Anne's trial, Minnesota celebrated its first year of statehood and worried that putting a woman to death could reflect poorly on them. Shocking. It was bad for the Minnesota Nice brand.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to go over
That's
well.
not going to sell a lot of flannel and T-shirts with moose outlines on them.
Right? Because then they're going to be like, oh, that's that one state that killed a girl.
Oof, duh, we have a murderess. Even for hardcore death penalty proponents, putting a woman to death had historically been seen as improper. It's still pretty controversial today, not as controversial as it used to be. Hashtag women in male-dominated fields.
But it's more like the death penalty in general is more contested today than it was. Not necessarily like the death penalty for women.
Yeah, but people definitely have a harder time, one, believing women can commit really heinous acts and then putting them to death for it.
Yeah.
So while the state duked out the moral quandary in newspapers, Anne sat in the St. Paul jail waiting for news on her appeals. She hoped that her conviction would be overturned. On July 25th, 1859, Anne was visited by her lawyer. He told her that the state Supreme Court had denied her appeal, which meant that she had no other recourse to prove her innocence. She would be sentenced by the end of the year.
Jeez.
John stayed with Anne for 2 hours trying to comfort her. Like,
Aww.
Poor John must feel so responsible for this.
Yeah, because he's like, I brought you here. And then I moved in with you because I'm sick, and now
everyone's saying we're fucking, and like, so. Now, this part was a bit confusing for me because when we think of jails, like we imagine how tightly people are controlled. No one is hanging out without a bunch of guards around. There's cameras, there's gates, there's locks. Everything is very strictly monitored.
But that's
movement.
Now.
Exactly. Movement is highly restricted. This is 1859. Nowadays people are not allowed to wander and they're transported to and from secure locations, such as from their cell to special visitation rooms by guards. That doesn't appear to have been the case with Anne, though. I read that after John left, she paced the halls of the jail. Not her cell, just like of the jail.
Yeah, she's just like wandering around.
She was not in her cell or another similarly secure space other than, I guess, the jail building itself.
That's interesting.
Looking at life in prison or death, Anne had little to lose. When the guard left Anne to get the keys to return her to her cell, which feels like some cartoon Scooby-Doo shit.
Yeah, like he doesn't have the keys on him?
Yep. Anne took her chance. Anne sprinted down a staircase to the basement and crawled through a partially barred window. Finally, outside of the jail, Anne booked it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
She fucking went. Hashtag women runners.
Yeah.
Hashtag women be running. When the guard returned and couldn't find Anne, he assumed that she had gone back to her cell on her own.
I was really hoping you were going to say that. Please tell me he was just like,
and was waiting for him there. She was not. Honestly, I think that this is better, that he's like, obviously, she must have put herself back in her cell.
I'm just going to go get her.
I'm going to go and like officially lock the door. She's so nice for making my job easy. For a week, Anne was on the run.
Hell yeah, Anne.
Her escape dominated headlines and put all of St. Paul on alert. Everyone wanted to catch the infamous murderess before she struck again.
Jesus Christ.
Or at least to collect the $500 reward being offered. Finally, Anne was spotted walking down a road outside of St. Paul heading towards St. Anthony, which really isn't that far. Like
on foot.
Yeah, and at this time, there's not sidewalks, there's no paved roads.
Exactly.
But it's funny because like St. Anthony, you can be driving through St. Paul and you're just like suddenly in St. Anthony.
Yeah, you like don't even realize
and
it.
Unless you like read the sign, you're like, oh shit, okay. So she was dressed in men's clothes and traveling with John Walker.
I mean, yeah, that makes, again,
Johnny
makes
Walker
sense.
is
Their family.
He is a king in this story. He really is. He is a bad bitch. He is ride or die. So though Anne had previously been criticized for her lack of feeling, she, quote, manifested considerable emotion, unquote, upon being discovered. John, on the other hand, was calm. He's probably so fucking over this.
Yeah, he's like, she didn't fucking do anything. Just let us go.
The news of John helping Anne escape seemed to confirm everyone's suspicions
Yeah,
of their
course.
inappropriate relationship. Or maybe John Walker had seen his aunt, who cared for him when he was ill,
And who he brought to the state.
be lied about and slandered in a courtroom and found guilty of a murder she didn't commit. A murder that may not have even happened. For helping Anne evade capture, John spent a month in jail but was not charged with a crime because male privilege.
Yeah, of course.
Anne was returned to jail. Like, he actually committed a crime.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
He
I'm
is morally...
like, that actually is a crime.
He is morally correct.
He's helping someone escape.
He actually committed a crime. It's actually the only crime in this entire story that can be definitively proven. I mean, other than her escaping jail, I guess. And he does not. He spends a month in jail and then they're just like, get out of here, you crazy kid. So Anne was returned to jail to await her sentencing. The sheriff was none too happy about Anne's escape and how bad it made him look. Yeah, dude. When you leave people alone to openly wander
the halls of a jail.
Yeah. When they have just found out that they're either going to be spending the rest of their life in prison or they're going to be killed. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
you kind of deserve to
that
be like...
should make you look bad because you know what? It is bad.
Yeah.
So reportedly, he kept very close watch over Anne and was cruel to her. Like, he took out his embarrassment on her.
Oh,
and it's like,
100%.
well,
That doesn't
dude,
surprise me.
you literally have one job.
Right.
It's to keep people inside this place, and you did not do that.
You failed.
She wasn't even a mastermind. She was just like, shit, literally no one is watching me, and she ran through an open window.
Right.
Anyway. Finally, on Friday, December 2nd, 1859, just over a year since she had married Stanislaus in the first place.
Jesus Christ. That moved so quick. Like, courts nowadays do not move that fast.
I know. I was like, I've been writing this story longer than they were married. Then this whole story has taken place.
Took you over a year?
No, it was just... I actually think I wrote this. I wrote this in one sitting, but it's one of my longer stories in a while because it's so messy. So Anne arrived at the Ramsey County Courthouse for her sentencing. The judge asked her if she would like to make a statement before the sentencing. Anne stood and said, quote, "If I die in this case, I die an innocent woman. I don't think I have had a fair and just trial. You can proceed."
Fuck yeah.
All fucking facts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I definitely do. Here's the thing. Whether or not you believe she actually murdered Stanislaus, you cannot... Like, there's no way there was sufficient evidence to convict her.
Yeah, it's the whole, like, the burden of proof and stuff like that, but then also, like, beyond a reasonable doubt. There was definitely reasonable doubt.
There was so much reasonable doubt.
There was just so much doubt.
Anne was sentenced to 1 month in solitary confinement.
Seems harsh.
And then
Death.
to be hung by the neck until you are dead. Anne openly wept, to which the judge said, "May God in his infinite compassion have mercy
on
upon
your
your soul."
They always say that in movies and stuff, and I'm like, do judges actually say that to
In the
people?
1800s in Minnesota, they abso-fucking-lutely did. This judge maybe should have been an actor instead of a judge. Just saying. Interestingly enough, Rosa Scharf, the housekeeper who had testified to the improper nature of Anne and John's relationship, visited the Kilpatrick's home to discuss Anne and her fate after this sentencing.
You mean the one that was definitely the girl that was just, like, trying to get in John's pants?
Lucinda Kilpatrick, yep. So she visited their house, and that night...
Yeah, those bitches were in on it together.
That night, Rosa returned to the home where she was working in, took a large amount of laudanum, and died.
That's sketchy.
It was never determined whether or not Rosa's death was a suicide or an accident, as laudanum, like every other fucking deadly poison of the day,
Including
arsenic, was commonly used for medicinal purposes. But her death did raise questions.
Yeah, that's super sketchy.
If it were a suicide,
why?
Exactly. The timing of her visit to Lucinda Kilpatrick was also very odd.
Yeah.
When questioned by the press, Lucinda refused to give a statement. She didn't deny it. She didn't make an excuse. She refused to make a statement entirely. The mystery surrounding Rosa's death changed nothing for Anne. Her execution was scheduled for March 23rd, 1860, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. because apparently executions are scheduled like visits from the cable guy.
That is really weird that there's like a time frame.
I think it's so that people, if there's an escape attempt, you can't plan for like, okay, at this specific time, these people are going to be here. But yeah, I would just say the day then though.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
in
like
the morning.
I don't
AM on this date.
Yeah. The death penalty debate that Anne's case had raised for the young state was still raging. Hers would be the first execution of a woman or a white person in the state. Minnesota had been trying to separate itself from its past of a wild, barbaric frontier.
Yeah, good job, Minnesota.
Yeah. Rather portraying itself as a modern society ruled by civility. On March 5th, it seemed...
Did you just hear that weird noise?
Yeah, your dog is like playing.
Oh, was that our dog? I thought it was Justin going, Grah!
No, it was definitely your littlest dog.
Oh,
it was definitely Zana Banana, the little ghost. She was going...
Navi also makes real weird noises.
On March 5th, it seemed that the debate had been settled. The state legislature passed a bill that would commute Anne's sentence to life in prison.
Oh, damn.
This way, the state could be seen as hard on crime without being so barbaric as to put a woman to death.
The middle ground.
I mean... with all the injustice that's going on, this feels like a compromise of some sort. 3 days later, then Governor Alexander Ramsey overturned the bill.
Wait, it was already named Ramsey County? Wow, that just seems very full of
probably
himself.
because he helped colonize it. I mean, yes. So... He overturned the bill that was described in the paper as, he overturned the bill with what was described in the paper as a, quote, manly veto.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That sounds something like we would hear describing a certain person today.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
Yeah.
So gross. He argued that the bill was unconstitutional.
Jesus Christ.
As he should be the only one with power to pardon a convicted person. I'm sorry.
He was butthurt. That's what it is.
The Constitution does not protect your right as governor to be the only person who can say you have control over life and death, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking what?
Clearly he has never read the Constitution.
He is so fucking small. He is such a small man. It also may be worth noting that Ramsey and Anne's defense attorney were enemies.
Oh, shocking.
He is so small.
Yeah. He's being petty as fuck.
He is, and murdering someone in that pettiness.
Yeah.
Like, there's some pettiness that I can absolutely get behind. This is obscene.
Yeah.
2 weeks before her execution, the prosecutor of Anne's case stepped forward to beg for mercy for Anne. Remember, the prosecutor is the one who was like, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
She murdered him.
But she's also like, hey, we don't need to kill her.
Exactly. He acknowledged that her trial had been less than fair. First of all, in the middle of the proceedings, the jury enjoyed a 3-day weekend. Weekends in this story are never a good thing.
No.
Where they were free to read all of the drama being printed in the papers.
Holy shit.
No sequestering. And remember, the papers had already firmly decided.
They've been slandering her since
all
day
of the
one.
details.
Yeah.
Exactly. Also, Anne's first defense attorney had fallen ill during the trial and was therefore unable to give a proper defense.
Jesus Christ.
Dude's probably fighting typhoid himself. That shit's everywhere. While awaiting her fate, Anne spent a lot of time in prayer. She had converted to Catholicism and been baptized, which normally I roll my eyes at that when convicted murderers.
When it's
this
hopeless,
case, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what else you're supposed to cling to. So she was baptized. She prayed earnestly, quote, to make preparation for the great change that awaited her. Anne struggled with the complex emotions that are bound to affect someone who knows that they are about to die. Not only that they're about to die, they're about to be killed.
Yeah.
She expressed hope that there would be a last minute pardon, anger at her situation, and even forgiveness. She said, quote, Mrs. Kilpatrick made a great many false statements. I always believed that her husband forced her to do so. I don't know what role he had. If he found out his wife was like hitting on John Walker, he also probably wasn't super happy about that and was like down for the conspiracy that like Anne and John are fucking. Regardless, people were straight up lying in this case. Yeah. On the morning of her execution, Anne bid farewell to her fellow prisoners and a few visitors. John Walker was not among them as he had left St. Paul.
Yeah, he was like, fuck. I mean, I'm a little sad he didn't come back for that, but like at the same time, I'm sure, it's kind of like,
I imagine
fuck this shit.
I think he did everything he could and realized there was nothing more he could do.
And hopefully he came and said bye like before he left.
I think he also probably realized that their relationship, like their closeness as aunt and nephew, was not helping her.
Yeah, it was causing problems.
And I'm sure shit was really bad for him too, because he's the dude fucking his aunt.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason she allegedly murdered someone. So he was probably like St. Paul, there was nothing left for him there. There was absolutely nothing left for him. So yeah, he got out of there, which I do not blame him for. She asked one of the guards, quote, "Don't let the crowd see me. I am willing to meet my God, but I don't want to have a crowd see me die." Unfortunately for Anne, a crowd had already gathered in the gallows, situated in an enclosure outside of the jail at the corner of 5th and Cedar Street, which means something to someone. Men, women, and children were all present. Approximately 100 people gathered inside the gallows, while 2,000 others stood outside, hoping to get a glimpse of St. Paul's most notorious murderess. Spectators climbed onto rooftops, wagons, and carriages, hoping to witness the execution. If this grosses you out, like, ew, humans, just remember they're trying to bring this back.
Yep.
They want to bring this back. Dressed in black, Anne was led to the gallows and positioned on the platform. Looking out at the crowd, she had not wanted to be there. She spoke. "I die without having any mercy shown me or justice. I die for the good of my soul and not for murder. May you all profit by my death. Your courts of justice are not courts of justice, but I will yet get justice in heaven. I am a guilty woman, I know, but not of this murder." Which is like, the most Catholic thing. Like, we're all
it's like,
sinners.
I've done stuff, but like not
like
what you're
none of us
saying
are
I
perfect.
did.
Yeah. Which was committed by another. "I forgive everybody who did me wrong. I die a sacrifice to the law. I hope you all may be judged better than I have been, and by a more righteous judge. I die prepared to meet my God."
Wow.
A black hood was placed over Anne's head and the rope tightened around her neck. She asked for Jesus Christ to save her soul, and then she stepped off the platform. The crowd did not whoop or cheer. Other than whispered prayers, it was quiet. Onlookers stood for about 20 minutes watching Anne's body swaying in the air. Minnesota had carried out its first legal execution as a state.
Jesus.
They had executed their first white person and
woman.
first woman. Anne Belansky's execution marked a lot of firsts for Minnesota, but she was also the last, as she was the only woman ever executed in Minnesota before the death penalty was abolished in 1911.
Holy shit.
Anne was dead, but her legend had taken on a life of its own. In St. Paul, if someone was suspected of lying, they would be accused of having, quote, been to see Mrs. Belansky. So, like, she kind of became this, like, catchphrase.
Yeah.
Newspapers, not ready to let go of the hot headline fodder, resurrected Anne a year and a half after her execution, pondering if she had actually killed more men than Stanislaus. It's like, but what if others? Even today, Anne's legend lives on as an alleged ghost. Stories claim that her ghost haunts Calvary Cemetery, where she was buried in an unmarked grave, searching for her headstone. More dramatic accounts claim that she is dressed in her black execution robe, or even as the Grim Reaper.
Ooh.
I actually, when I read that, I think I remember us hearing that story on the bus tour.
Yeah, now that yeah.
The story is not what I thought it was when I started. I thought this was going to be a short tale of a woman poisoning her shitty husband with like a little local bent to it. You know, it's like Minnesota, that's fun. In reality, it's the story of a woman who at best was convicted of a crime she committed without sufficient evidence, and at worst, an innocent woman who was put to death for a crime that may not have even occurred.
Yeah.
Throughout the story, we see the failings of the justice system, including self-interest, poor evidence collection, unreliable science, and sexism that colored Anne Belansky as an ugly, outspoken, sexually ravenous bitch.
Yep.
We like to think that we are far removed from the circumstances that put Anne on the gallows, but that compelled thousands to gather to witness her death, but we're not. And that's why it is so important for us to check our own biases, rely on substantial, verifiable evidence, and ultimately have compassion for human life outside of our own. If we cannot do this, well, the judge's words to Anne upon her sentencing come to mind. May God, in his infinite compassion, have mercy upon your soul.
Damn.
And that is the story of Anne Belansky, first and last of her kind.
Damn. And scene.
And see, I was very proud.
No,
I was very proud of these
yeah.
notes. I did not orate them as well as I could have. I think I should have been more drunk before I start. Uncontrollable tornado of salacious. Oh my God. Have you? Do you ever remember that show? I think it was called like Unexplained or something like that. It was hosted by Jonathan Frakes, where he always started every episode with like a weird rhetorical question. And they were sometimes really detailed. He was like, have you ever ridden a mountain bike? Have you ever seen something and then done this? And then like he tells a story and like, have you ever done that? And then they get into a weird story. There is a video compilation of him just asking those questions. And the caption is my brain when I'm trying to fall asleep, or the questions my wife asks me right before bed. And there's a version of it that Egg showed me where his voice is slowed down So it sounds like he's asking really drunk questions. Like, are you superstitious? It's the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Something that needs to exist in the world.
Oh, absolutely. It makes us so happy. Sorry, I forget why I was talking about that.
Because we were talking about you messing up your words.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is funny because like you're talking about him sounding drunk, but you're like, I wasn't drunk enough.
That was my thing, honestly. I imagine Jonathan Frakes is an excellent voice actor, and I imagine he was shit-faced for everything he did. He did.
That would be you.
He was Xanatos and Gargoyles, wasted. He does not remember those
Gargoyles?
like 3 years. He's like, I was in what show?
What do you mean I played a gargoyle? That doesn't sound like me.
No. You didn't play a gargoyle. You played like a rich millionaire. It's like,
oh, that's better.
what? Yeah, and you had a ponytail. What?
Yeah, that's the most shocking part.
You
like,
dated a
wait,
chick
what?
with a face tattoo. Fucking what was this show?
That's true.
You had this weird will they won't they with a gargoyle where everyone was like shipping you guys, but it was weird. Okay, that part makes sense.
That one I'm okay with.
But yeah, no, I was pretty proud of these notes.
You should be. They were beautiful.
It was a bummer of a story because again, I thought this was gonna be like, husband's not a great guy, wife murders him with
Just someone
arsenic,
committing arsenics all over.
Yeah, it's just a lady doing an arsenic, and we're like, hey, don't do that. But also like, sis, I feel ya. But no, it was like there was probably no crime committed.
Yeah.
Period.
That's the like infuriating part.
That's
like,
it's
are you
not even
fucking kidding
it's
me?
a wrongful conviction in the way that there was not even a crime to convict for.
Right.
And for some reason that just feels extra awful. Yeah. Because I get if someone is murdered, we want justice. We want the person to be found and held accountable.
Yeah, but it's like people can't even prove he was
we
murdered.
also just want someone to be held accountable at the end of the day. But yeah, it was the 1800s. People were dying of everything, and he was an alcoholic who was taking fistfuls of patent medicine and
a hypochondriac,
and
like,
not
just all
wanting
these
to call the
things.
doctor because he was cheap. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Like,
So.
dude was not okay on multiple levels.
Yeah. He was also kind of a miserable son of a bitch, which I'm sorry. That's not going to help your physical health. But
It
yeah.
doesn't mean you should be murdered. It's still not going to help anything.
Well, something that was interesting. I don't think I included this in my notes, but
How dare you not include it in your notes?
and so Stanislaus is incredibly sick, and like it's kind of obvious he's dying. Okay,
Yeah.
No one was surprised that he died. It wasn't like he was fine. He's been sick for a while, and the children actually reported that she was like crying at his bedside because she's like, what do I do about the kids? Like, what do me and
Like,
the
how
kids
do I do this?
do?
Yeah.
You know, because like they're technically not her kids. I don't know what the laws look like about
Yeah.
adoption and like, oh, you married the dad and then the dad died. Now who, has
Who knows
conservatorship
what
over
that
the
looks
kids.
like.
But she was upset at the prospect of him dying. And she's like, what the hell do I do?
Yeah.
She's been through this before, and now she's got 3 to 4 kids to worry about. And she was a good stepmother. She's probably not going to just be like, deuces.
Yeah, exactly.
Sucks
Like
to
their other
suck.
mom.
Go find Ellen, you little turds. Yeah. Just like, and those kids, they lost their father.
Yeah.
They also lost who was probably the most, if not one of the only stable adults in their lives.
Actually, probably both of them, because Johnny Walker probably was too.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he pieced out too.
Yeah. And again, I don't blame him.
Oh, no,
Like
not at all.
at a certain point, you gotta have your limits. You gotta preserve your peace, okay? And St. Paul was never gonna be a peaceful place for him
Well, and
again.
you think, like, at some point he probably does, like, if he ever recovers, which he probably won't, like, TB is, especially back then,
Not
generally not
tuberculosis.
something, what?
Not tuberculosis.
I thought you said that's what he had.
Typhoid.
He had typhoid.
Yeah.
But still.
Which you can recover from, but
You can. It's still pretty rough.
What's up, Typhoid Mary?
And so it's like, but at some point he probably still wants to get, like, married and have his own family, and he's not going to be able to do that, in St. Paul anymore.
Oh, absolutely not. Even though apparently he's the hottest piece of ass this side of the Mississippi. Everyone wants to fuck old Johnny Walker. He's the only person. Like here's the thing. I would love to have a photo of Anne because she deserves to be seen, to be remembered, to be talked about. I really want a photo of Johnny Walker.
Just to be like, why was everyone like so gung ho about
what
this
was the 1850s version of a zaddy? Because I need to know what that looks like.
I don't even know if he was a zaddy because how old was he?
I mean, good point. Who is this hot piece of 1850s ass that everyone was so thirsty for?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
That was clearly like good looking enough that people were like, yeah, incest is a thing with this one.
God. And here's the thing. It's not even that's not plausible. It's just that there was literally
no evidence other than one woman being like, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah. One woman who actually, what was interesting is I didn't find anything that said Lucinda proposed the incest theory. The police had just kind of decided that must be the motive, because everything Lucinda said, she was like, well, she bought the arsenic. She made some weird comments about buying the arsenic. She basically said she murdered. Like, her story kept, getting more and more accusatory and damning the more she told it, but she was always talking about the arsenic. She, as far as I could find, she's very much
pointing her finger at Anne.
But I think really she's trying to get rid of Anne because Anne is probably not into Lucinda hitting on her nephew when Lucinda herself is fucking married.
Right.
And they're neighbors, dude. That's so weird.
Well, yeah, I'm sure she's cautioning Johnny like, hey, don't like, that's not something you want to get involved with. Like, don't get involved with a married woman. That's a bad idea.
Because she's a responsible adult.
Yeah, I was like, no, that's really good advice.
There are two responsible adults in this story, and both of them got completely fucked.
Yeah.
So, Kelly, hopefully your story is less wrongful conviction-y / hopefully crime actually occurred.
No.
Or
really.
like if a crime is purported to have happened, it actually happened.
Minimal crime in my story.
Okay, is it fun?
Ish.
Okay, like, on the October scale of fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about a folklore, so it's not like Etane, but it's
Jesus. I need to re-listen to that episode because I was also pretty drunk when you were telling it, and I only remember bits and pieces.
It's a lot.
It was so much.
But yeah, so I'm whining about Mare or Mare, or it goes by a bunch of different names because it's kind of like a multinational nationality folklore.
Mrs. Worldwide.
Exactly. So it is fairly safe to say that every person who is listening to this has probably had a nightmare at some point.
Yes.
Or knows someone who has. It's kind of almost like part of being human. Your brain is overactive and stressed, and all your pent up emotions and everything else find a way to release in what is usually kind of harmless. And they range from, like you wake up and you don't remember it, to you wake up and you're like, God, that was awful, to like it literally like haunts you for like days.
Can I just say, waking up in the middle of the night, like in a dark bedroom after a nightmare, is awful because it's happened to me, and it doesn't matter how much I rationalize or like how awake I am or how much I'm very aware that it was a dream and not real. There's something about it. Like when you wake up in the dark, it cannot leave you.
Yeah.
It like physically cannot leave you. And then when you wake up in the light, you're like, oh, okay, I can move on now. But when you wake up in the middle of the night, I don't care how awake or like rational you are, it doesn't.
Just adds an extra level.
It hangs on you. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't like it. Don't care for it. Would not recommend.
No,
One star.
Really.
1 star. Not a serious history podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, like now we kind of know that like nightmares are kind of, it depends on the nightmare. Some are trauma based, some are just random shit from your brain, some are a combination of both. Those ones are fun.
What's up?
Or some are just nonsense that just happen to pop up. However, if you lived in ancient Germany, Norway, or like various parts of Eastern Europe, that stress nightmare would likely have been caused by a Mara or Mare or Mare, etc.
What are we calling her for consistency?
We'll call her
Mara.
Mara.
Okay. I actually loosely know Amara.
I wouldn't even say I know her. I know of Amara.
Yes.
So
I'm just imagining her, whom I've never actually met, but
Okay.
This is her. This is that person.
Mare or Mare are malicious entities, sometimes sometimes considered a demon, sometimes not. But yeah, they're like Germanic, Slavic, Eastern, European, Scandinavian, like that kind of area. And like each of them have slight differences that I'll get into, but that's where it's from. And some of them can be male or female, but like the oldest one that's Germanic, were considered like female spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And so the common lore, like what does a mare or Mara do? So the like consistent lore is that the Mara come at night while you're sleeping and they sit on your chest and they call it riding, like literally in quotes.
Hot.
But it's on your chest. So basically you have like an asthmatic fit, you start sweating, you're, like kind of rolling around like having a bad nightmare.
The Mara come out at night.
Exactly.
The Mara come out at night.
So like sometimes there's thrashing or like injury, usually from the thrashing. And yeah, these really horrible nightmares sometimes that you awaken from, but when you awaken, you're paralyzed and you can thrash, but you can't get up, you can't move, you can't really breathe.
It's the OG sleep paralysis demon.
That's exactly what it is. And,
What's up?
And you can't scream, but you can kind of like make moaning noises. And in most of the lore, there's some that like refute this, but Mara don't appear to actually like cause physical injury. Like they're not doing this to drain your blood. They're not doing this to like steal your life force. They're just doing this to fuck with you.
I actually really respect that.
Like they're literally just like, yeah, I'm gonna cause people horrible nightmares because I can.
Hashtag afterlife goals.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like they are sometimes put into like a similar category as like incubus and succubus, where it is like soul related, but
is it sexy?
Sometimes, but not really.
Okay.
Like it literally is just like, I'm going to suffocate this person and cause them to get absolutely no sleep. So they're just like super exhausted and irritable tomorrow.
I actually I fucking love that.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
here
That's
for that.
I like found that out and I was like, yep, this is it.
So this is going to be my plan B. Obviously my hashtag afterlife goals, dear woman. She's top tier. Love her.
She's great.
One of the students in the class I'm modeling for, she's Indigenous. And I was like, okay, have you ever heard the dear woman? She's like, oh my God, yes. And we like geeked out. And I'm like,
That's
I was like, I love her so much. But this is a close second. I would be very happy in this role.
You might not even have to be dead to do it. We'll get into that.
Ooh.
So these women beasties, because like, that's the thing, like the lore even differs on like what exactly they are. Some people say they are humans and are witches that are like having an out of body experience. So this is like their soul going and fucking with people while their body's somewhere else.
Like what even is a nightmare demon?
Yeah,
man?
exactly. Like some people say they're demons. Some people are just like, oh, they're just some malicious spirit. Some people say they're spirits of dead people. I'll get into it. But the interesting thing about Mara are like these women beasties don't limit themselves to tormenting just humans. So in like the Swedish and Nordic mythology, they were also known to ride horses, who would then like end up with sweating exhaustion, and their manes would end up with like horrible knots. I'm mainly for Anders' sanity, I'm not going to try to pronounce.
Anders, our favorite cat granddaddy.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce like the Swedish and Norwegian because I probably won't.
I really want you to try.
I'm not going to.
Please.
Fine.
Okay.
So they're known as Marflator or Martovor, which are Marelocks and Maretangles, like respectively.
Okay, I actually think you did a really great job. I thought there were going to be a lot more syllables and way more consonants.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, like if there's like a horse that's like being irritable and is sweaty and like hasn't slept and like their hair is really like matted and tangled, they would say that they were ridden by this mare or mare. Also, this is probably where nightmare comes from.
Oh shit. The whole time I'm like, yeah, I get the horse connection because mare.
Yeah.
Jesus oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Kelly.
There's some like debate over like what came first, like if this folklore came first and then since like the woman is like on top of your chest riding, like is that like where the mare connection came from? Not in a sexy way.
I'm over here like humping my chair with my glass of wine.
Or is it the horse connection? But either way, yeah, it's like that's where it came from, was like this folklore.
Tell me women haven't contributed anything to society. We literally haunt your dreams, bitches.
These Mara were also said to sometimes like ride trees, and that like the trees that are really like knotted, and you see like those trees that are like have all the branches twisted together and stuff like that are also known to have been like touched by the Mara. And so basically if something looks twisted, exhausted, and super upset in the morning, that was probably just a Mara having some fun.
Okay, I must have a full-time one.
Yeah.
Because if you look at me, my hair and my shit attitude,
especially in the mornings,
like I am not okay by anyone's standards. Are Mara just late stage capitalism?
Yeah, maybe.
Where none of us sleep and we're all working ourselves to death.
Yeah. So the like myth or the folklore of the Mara is attested as early as like a Norse. See, this is one that I literally don't know how to pronounce, so I'm going to try.
Tell me it's all consonants and a bunch of umlauts.
I mean, it starts with a Y.
Damn it.
It starts with a YNG, and I'm like,
Ing.
That's what, yeah.
Okay.
It's like Ynglinga saga. It's like a saga of like a Norse king from the 13th century. So like this folklore goes back, and that's the first written record, which means there were like oral traditions from farther back.
And you thought I was going back with 1821.
Yeah, I'm all over. So this saga tells the story of King Vanlandis Fengosian of Uppsala, who actually lost his life to Amara.
Oh shit.
Which is rare, but so apparently this king had basically abandoned his wife for like conquest and was like, I'll be back. And then like 3 years later, he wasn't back yet.
Jesus Christ.
And so his wife found a sorceress named Huld or Hulda, depending on like the story. And yeah, so he was like, I'll be back in 3 years. It had been 10. And she was like, go find my husband. Basically give him a choice, like come back or murder him. That's what the wife said.
You know what? Here's the thing. Relationships are about open communication and setting healthy boundaries. Okay? Yep. When your husband says he's going to fuck off for 3 years and instead fucks off for 10.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's the point where you're just like, you know what? He's dead. I'm just assuming responsibility for everything.
This is the 13th century version of changing the locks on him and just being like, no, you don't fucking live here anymore.
Right. So Von Lundy had scarcely gone to sleep when he complained that the nightmare rode him. And when his men tried to like help him with it trod on his legs to the point of breaking his legs. And then when they noticed that, they like grabbed his feet, and the creature obviously moved up and like pressed down on his head and killed him. So that's a thing. I'm like, I blame the guys, maybe had they not grabbed his feet, the Mara would have just broken his legs and got on with it.
Or maybe if that dude had just like went home or
Yeah.
like maybe, I don't know, sent a raven with a message or something.
Right.
Like,
But like, I'm not coming home.
just check in.
Yeah.
It's important to check in with your partner, especially when you live together, because the other person needs to know that you're not dead.
Exactly. You need to update your partner.
My ex literally used to disappear, and I would like have to like and like for days.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I was
Not like one night.
yeah, and I was like messaging his relatives,
Yeah, I
being
remember
like,
that.
I'm just trying to figure out if this dude's alive right now. Like, if he doesn't want to be here, that's fine. But I want to make sure he's not dead in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
God. Why
10
men?
years.
Why men?
Okay. So we're gonna talk about like what Amara looks like.
Ooh, I'm really excited for this part because I was just gonna ask.
Yeah. So obviously this varies from folklore to folklore to folklore. Like I said, most of them are female. Some have like male equivalents, but the name is slightly different. Some are both. One of the like a key thing is like they can shapeshift, like that they're some sort of like female humanoid, but they can shapeshift into other shapeshifters or other shapes. However, in some folklore, Maras are foot tall, fuzzy like gnomes.
Oh my god, they're so cute. So they're chihuahuas.
Yep, and in other folklore, they're like super tall, like skinny, ghoulish things, like as tall as like a ceiling.
So giraffes.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine someone in like Sweden seeing a giraffe for the first time and being like, fuck no.
I mean, my summary of it is basically whatever your brain creates that is strange and terrifying.
It's like,
that is what Amaro is, because that is what's going to give you nightmares.
go to hell, you tall spotted horse.
Yeah. So according to some...
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining someone's. It's like the things from Harry Potter, the bogarts or whatever, the boogers.
Yeah,
that like
the boggarts.
that manifest your greatest fears. Someone's greatest fear is like a tiny, fuzzy little gnome. I would just be like, oh my God, it's the cat distribution system.
Exactly.
This one looks weird. I love it more.
Yeah. So, yeah, according to a lot of scholars, like I said, they one of the beliefs was that they were witches who like sent their spirits out while they were in a trance. And a lot of times, specifically in like Icelandic myths, they would take the form of a lot of different animals. So like frogs, cats, horses, hares. I'm like, a frog would not suffocate someone. But like
I will
birds,
say,
or often bees and wasps.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, if I woke up and there was just like a swarm of bees in my face, I would panic.
do you remember the apartment that we lived in together senior year of college?
Yeah.
The window to my room did not have a screen on it, and there was a hornet's nest under the eaves of the roof. So for the first like 2 days of us living there, I was a panicked bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. By the end, I was the wasp killer.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like, fucking give me a reason. There was no fear because I was so used to it.
Yeah.
Also, if I woke up in the middle of the night and there was just like a frog on my chest, I would probably freak out. I'm just saying. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I feel like it would be a different level of freak out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would also be very confused about like, yeah, why can't I move or breathe? What is wrong with this frog?
Right. I mean, a cat on my chest and I can't move or breathe. I'm like, that's just having a cat.
Exactly. That's having a cat
Jesus.
or dog. So in Croatia specifically, the Mora or Mara is, like a spirit that is considered like they're referred to like as a dark one, as a spirit, but they're a beautiful woman who specifically only visits men. And it's much more like reference to like succubus, where it's like they visit men and then they torture them with desire. Like they don't do anything. They just torture them with desire and then they kill them, specifically only in Croatia. So I was like, good for you, Croatia.
With all of these feminine entities that lure men in with beauty, drive them mad with desire, and then end up just murdering them, you think men would just like leave women the fuck alone?
You'd think so. We're not that lucky.
I'd love to just be left alone.
So when you have a Mara that visits you frequently, what do you do? It's like my favorite part.
Okay, it depends on if it's a cat.
Yeah,
If it's in the form of a cat, I might actually already live with one. Because he does assault me.
There you go.
He
We figured it out.
hits me in the fucking face. He also goes all WWE on Egg, where he like gets up on the curtains above
God,
Egg
that's
and then just drops a two in the
full body
water.
weight. Yeah, that's hilarious.
From the sky he comes.
That's hilarious.
Shit, Arthur's Amara.
Yeah,
I'm not
we
mad
figured
about it.
out.
I'm not mad about it.
So one of the ways would be if someone else in your household notices it or you tell them, if they call you by your baptismal name to wake you up, that will frighten the Mara away.
Oh.
Specifically the baptismal name. And I'm like, that's a demon thing.
Yep.
So supposedly one of the ways a Mara gets into your home is they enter through either like a hole in your house or like a keyhole in your door.
Like fucking mice.
And then can be captured by plugging the hole with something and then like getting someone to wake you up. So in one tale that I read, like it was two woodsmen. This is a tale of the Mara. Like two woodsmen were out, like sharing a cabin, chopping down trees, and one of them was
Totally platonic.
Exactly. One of them was being plagued by a Mara, and so he told like his coworker, like, oh, like, yeah, stuff something in the keyhole and we'll capture the Mara.
And they were co-workers.
And so they did, and the next day there was like a beautiful woman like in the hut with them.
Oh shit.
It was the Mara, and then they argued over like who got to have her, because it was like the one guy was like, well, I stuffed the keyhole, so therefore like I'm the one that did all the work, and the other guy's like, yeah, but like she was here for me. Eventually that's the guy that won, the one that was having the nightmares, and they actually like got married and had kids.
Jesus fucking Christ, escalated.
It gets weird. It gets
Whoa,
weirder.
okay.
But like they get married, they have kids, and like the entire time they're married, like she's like, hey, can like I see the like door that I came in through? And she like asks again and again and again, and eventually like years later, he finally relents and is like, okay, fine. And so he shows her, and then she goes back out through the keyhole, never to be seen again.
There are actually a surprising amount of stories of feminine entities who like marry and have children with human men, and they are literally just biding their time until they can escape. Like I think the Selkie is a very similar one because the dude like steals her seal skin, so she can't turn back into a seal. So she marries him and has kids, and then she like
steals it back.
Yeah, and then she dips forever. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what happens when you trap women in
when
marriage
you, like,
and children.
Coerce them into it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is why children should be a choice, not a punishment for sex.
Yeah.
Jesus!
So if you know you're being visited by a Mara after the visit, so the next morning,
Okay.
you should offer it a cold bowl and buttered bread for breakfast.
Oh, shit.
After which she won't come back.
Okay.
Just give her breakfast and she's not going to bother you. I'm like, you give me breakfast, I'm coming back.
Okay, but I've been making breakfast for my Mara/cat for like 3 years, and he keeps
You
coming.
can give it a cold bowl and buttered bread.
It's even got cold water
I know,
in it.
just funny.
There's no butter.
You need to do the other one. You boil water in a newly bought jar plugged with a new cork, at which point the Mara will request you remove the cork and not bother you again. I'm like, that's a weird one. Some of these get real weird.
Where the fuck am I going to find a new jar?
Yep.
Technically, even if I use like a jelly jar I bought from the store, it's technically used, right?
Yeah.
I guess I could find one of those canning kits, like for people who make their own preserves and pickles and shit.
I have a bunch of jars.
Are they new though?
Yeah.
But since you have already owned them, would they be new to me?
I don't know. I don't have corked jars.
What even is new?
Yeah. Okay. I realize I put a chunk of my notes in the wrong spot. So this is more ways to potentially become a Mara.
Ooh, okay. Here's Emily's how-to for her afterlife. Here's my 5-year plan for my afterlife.
Yep. So Mara could potentially be the soul of a person, alive or dead, such as a sinful woman or someone wronged by someone else or someone who died without confession. Yeah, I'm going to become a Mara.
Yup. I'm there, bitch. I think I just haven't known that this is what
exactly.
I want. I just need to want it bad enough.
A woman who is promised to marry a man, but then the man marries another, and the rejected woman becomes a Mara at night, sometimes unknowingly. A another one, I like this one, is like if you have a child and the like godparent mispronounces a prayer, basically if they say Zmoras Mario instead of Zdworas Mario, which is basically like Ave Maria. If they say Ave Maria incorrectly,
They say
at
Ave
the
Mary.
baptism,
Oh, shit.
then the child becomes a Mara.
I kind of love that. What a great origin story.
Right?
Baptism's gone wrong.
Or if you have 7 daughters and no sons, either the eldest or the youngest will become a Mara.
Jesus
So it has been told.
Christ.
That's literally what it said. Or if a pregnant woman passes between 2 other pregnant women
Oh my God.
and then has a daughter, the daughter will become a Mara.
So those Lamaze classes are basically
Some of them
Mara
women are just
factories.
screwed. Yeah.
They're Mara This is why pregnant women can't hang out together.
Exactly.
Good God.
I need you to scroll down. I have more notes.
Ooh.
Okay. So back to ways to ward off a Mara.
I'm loving the Eastern
So-
European in you.
The German folklorist Aldebert Kuhn recorded this prayer or charm to ward off Maras. This is the translation because I wasn't going to do a full German chant.
Get ready to write this down because this is going to be someone's next tattoo.
Yeah. Here I am laying down to sleep. No nightmare shall plague me until they have swum through all the waters that flow upon the earth and counted all stars that appear in the firmament. Thus help me God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen.
I am a little sad that growing up Catholic in the 90s, we had moved away from the Holy Ghost thing.
My church still said it.
I would have been way more engaged in Catholicism
Yeah.
if we were talking about ghosts. I
Right?
mean, there was a lot of other spooky shit we talked
Yep.
about.
So there are also, you can cut off a string for the doorknob, stick an awl in the door, put a broom and an axe crosswise.
Wait, stick a what in the door?
An awl, AWL. It's like a woodworking tool, I think.
Okay.
It's a small pointed tool used for piercing holes in leather.
Okay.
I Googled it.
That's fine. I was just like, Kelly, I'm drunk, but
Yeah.
I'm not that drunk where I don't understand basic words.
Right. Or you can put a broom and an axe crosswise over your threshold. If you have horses that are being plagued by Mara, you hang mirrors over the manger, supposedly to scare off the Mara, or you put red ribbons in your horse's hair.
Honestly, I think these are all just like great decor ideas. An axe and a broom crossed over my doorway.
Right?
Bitchin'! Red ribbons in my horse's hair or like a mirror above the manger. Fucking rustic, pretty chic.
Yeah.
I like girly rustic. I love it.
Yeah. So we also have drinking coffee before going to sleep. I'm like, that sounds like that just means you're not sleeping.
It just means that you're awake enough to realize that you are awake because of your own poor choices.
Sleeping with a leather wedding belt or a scythe.
What is a leather wedding belt?
It's leather, wedding belt, or a scythe.
Okay.
I don't know.
I still want to know what a wedding belt is.
I don't know.
I'm just imagining the
I assume like a
chastity
garter.
belt. I'm imagining the chastity belt from Men in Tights, where it's just like a metal pair of panties with a giant lock on it.
Yeah. I don't know. When I Google wedding belt, it just shows me belts for your wedding dress, which is not helpful.
No, it's not.
Smearing feces on your front door.
Okay, no.
Or leaving a bundle of hay in your bedroom and going to sleep in a different room. That's one of my favorites.
I mean, there's definitely air.
It's like when you're a kid and you're trying to like put stuff under your covers so your parents think you're in the bed when you're like doing something else.
It's like definitely there's a progression to the treatment. It's like when you go to the doctor and you're like, my shoulder hurts. You know, they start with the least inconvenient treatment before they like work up to no, you are deeply severely broken.
Smearing feces on your front door.
Yeah, they give you surgery and then they smear feces on your shoulder blade. Yeah, it's like, hey, if none of the other stuff has worked, I'm sorry. We gotta try the feces. We gotta try the feces.
So yeah,
Whose
that's
feces
the Mara,
does it have to be?
The chest riding nightmare demon.
The chest riding nightmare demon. Oh my God.
Yeah, like I came across that, and I wasn't gonna do it because it was like a paragraph. Then I like dove into it, and I was like, nope, I can do this.
I'm so glad you did because I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
so
writing down.
that's the Mara or the Mare, the Mare,
The
depending on
chest riding
Nightmare Demon.
I may just shorten it to chest riding nightmare because that's also hilarious.
I mean, yeah, and when
We'll
like
see.
if you look up like Mara or Mare, like, and then folklore specifically, like there's a lot of different images of what it looked like. You know, and yeah, it ranges from like a woman to like a troll looking thing to
Oh my God.
a horse
Kelly,
to a cat.
fucking stop! This is the first image that popped up.
Oh yeah, that's the
in a
Wikipedia
little blue
one.
outfit.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's the one, and that's the Wikipedia one.
Oh
and
my
it's like, do
God.
you see though? It's like sticking its tongue in the dude's mouth. It's real weird.
I love it. That's such a cat thing. Cats are always trying to get inside your biz.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of different like things. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is the best picture I have ever seen. Ooh, there's also a lot of Wendigo looking shit. Like,
Yeah.
like women with deer or horse skull heads and antlers and shit.
Yeah.
Wendigo creep me out. They're genuinely like, the legend is fascinating, and like as far as monsters, I'm very interested and engaged. But they absolutely creep me out, especially because they're kind of our region, like up north. And
Yeah, I should say in like Canada and then like the United States and stuff, they're known as the night hag. And so it's called hag riding or witch riding instead of mare riding at night.
Yes.
So
oh my God, I love that. The
Yeah.
night hag.
But yeah, nightmare. That's where nightmare comes from.
Holy fucking shit, Kelly. That was amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I'm glad your story wasn't as much of a bummer as mine.
Yeah, try to balance you out a little.
It was more about thinking about the future than our horrible, horrible past.
There you go.
Should we read from the Book of Brave, especially because it's spooky season?
I suppose. I feel
Where
like
are
need
we?
Like a spook. I don't know. I'll let you know. We are day 17.
Holy shit, we're only day 17. Feels like it's been so long.
Dig into the word for yourself.
The word, yo.
I became a Ruby Rubin believer when I was 5. So the book has always been a part of my reading life. I am thankful that as long as I have known how to read, I have had a book. I'm just switching the other B word out.
I mean, honestly, I like to say the Holy Bible.
I know.
Yep.
But
but like same.
Yeah, right? I haven't always enjoyed reading it, to be honest. Parts of it are a bore to me. Lists, laws, and things that my brain doesn't quite comprehend.
And the things,
that's accurate.
and the things about like how to treat your slaves.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But as the years have gone by, I have grown to see the book for what it really is, a collection of stories with people just like us. Life lessons and page after page describing the Ruby Rubin we love and serve.
And also fear, because Ruby Rubin, she get crazy,
gets wrathful.
She get bitchy.
If you set out to read your book as if it is something you have to do, you will miss out on the supernatural power it can have in your life. The book is Ruby's way of communicating with you.
We did not plan this.
No.
This is not planned.
Of letting you in on who she is. The spirit uses her words to show us the truth, convict us, correct us, and train us. That sounds so creepy.
The Holy Ghost.
The book is not boring. It isn't just lists or rules or just a bunch of stories that are hard to understand. It is a record of who Ruby is and the story of her love for her people.
And that one time that she wiped out 90% of her people.
Actually, there's like at least 3 times that happens. And that's us.
There are a few extinction events, I think, in the Holly Bibble.
Yeah. The more you dig into the word for yourself, the more you will hunger for it. The more you read the book, the more you will know Ruby. That sounds kind of sexual.
It also sounds foreboding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's like reading the Necronomicon. It's like,
have you ever heard of oh God, I remember the word for it, but it's almost like threatening positivity, where it's like everything will work out. You have no choice.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. That's
Yeah,
what this feels
exactly.
like.
The book is always your best resource when you want to hear from Ruby. There in black and white and sometimes red, literally it says that,
Jesus Christ.
are Ruby's inspired words for you. Don't rely on your pastor, a podcast, or even a Christian author to read a few verses here and there. I feel called out right now.
I will say, I do like that it's like,
Find your own shit. Yeah.
Well, and actually read the Holly Bible and see what it says instead of
For
relying
yourself,
on
yeah.
someone who is twisting the words and taking things out of context,
Yep.
or not examining the entire thing like some people who have been very popular in the media. You know, I do like that idea where it's like, don't let people tell you what the Holly Bible says. Just read it. It's fucking there.
Yep.
So you can know how to treat your slaves.
Yep.
And
That's what it
how
says.
much you can sell your daughter for.
It says, dig into the word for yourself and enjoy this gift Ruby has given you. Total access to who she is and total knowledge of how she feels about you. I'm not going to read the bottom part because it's just advertising for a website.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, we don't. Oh, actually, the bottom says, if you want to learn, be brave, go to www.whiningaboutherstory.com.
And look at all their badass merch and leave a 5-star review.
We're the podcast that never actually claims to have the answers.
No, legitimately. Most of the time we're just like fucking up words and drinking.
Astronomical.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I will say,
Big
I
shame
do.
of my life.
I do appreciate that because it's like, read what the damn thing says. Also, be open because there are many different versions of the damn
Form
thing.
your own damn opinions.
Many people. I remember this
conversation.
conversation.
That was went down the wrong hole and it
Oh, no.
burns.
Is there a wrong hole with this wine?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
It's your
it
asshole.
burns.
Don't do it.
It did not go down my asshole. Don't worry about that.
So I remember I was having this conversation with some people in college, and I remember I was in the UC. We were on like the top, like mainish floor, and I don't know why we started talking about the Bible, because it's college and that's what you do. You talk about spiritualism and
random ass
religion
shit,
and
yeah.
whatever. And I made a comment. I was like, okay, here's the thing. I was brought up to learn that like God is perfect. He makes no flaws. He makes no mistakes. Everything is perfect. But humans, part of our charm is that we are inherently fallible. We can't do anything right. We are always going to do the wrong thing sometimes. We're unreliable narrators, okay? So how is it that God spoke to humans and was like, write this shit down?
Right.
And we trust that humans did that correctly. And we take that as the verbatim word of God.
Yeah.
It's like a logical fallacy. And everyone looked at me like I was fucking nuts. And
Yeah.
I have been desperate for validation ever since. Cause I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not the crazy person in
Right.
this like conversation circle. That makes
Are you
sense.
sure?
Well, and then actually that's when I learned that like the Bible has been edited. It's had books removed. It's had
yeah.
books added. It has been edited within an inch of its life by many different people with many different motives.
Yep. I mean,
So I was fucking right.
There is a book written by Mary Magdalene that is not in like the traditional version of the Bible because it was too controversial.
There are also books that are credited to certain apostles that were definitely not written by those apostles.
Yeah.
Like
hello.
You guys. Now, here's the thing. I understand on a certain level. If you think that the all-powerful deity that you worship has literally written in black and white a handbook of their history, your history as a human, and told you how to behave, I get why you would take that so seriously.
Yeah.
Again, though, very few people follow the Bible to the letter because it is pretty much impossible. I think even back then,
It's incredibly high standards.
let alone our modern society. Like if you're fighting against same-sex marriage and you're wearing polyester and eating shellfish, get the fuck out of here.
Maybe take a look at yourself.
Because the Bible says a lot of shit, honey.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be black and white.
Well, and some people try to view it that way, but those are also the people who absolutely do not follow it in the black and white.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, cool. If you had to sell your daughter, how much would she go for? There's a whole thing in the Bible about like selling your daughter. Oh, how do you treat your enslaved people? Well, that's wrong. Okay, but the Bible has instructions on what is and is not appropriate abuse for enslaved people.
Yep.
Again. And it's like, oh, well, God is good and God is pure. It's like, okay, well, then the people who wrote the Bible fucked up. They inserted their own shit in there.
Right.
I think that's
Exactly.
actually
Like it was written by
I think
human
that's
beings.
actually like, and that was kind of the conclusion I came to as a kid. I think that's way more reasonable than the Bible is infallible. It's like, no, God can be perfect and good and just and all of these
But
things.
humans are not.
But the people, the human beings who wrote the fucking Bible sure as hell aren't.
Exactly.
They are not.
I mean, I am, but you know.
You are perfect, Kelly. You're magnificent.
Thanks.
Magnificent piece of ass. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Whining About Herstory. Find us on Facebook at Whining About Herstory, Instagram at WAHpod.
Our website, as Emily already mentioned, is www.whiningaboutherstory.com. You can find a link to everything she just mentioned, a link to all of our merch, a link to our Buy Me a Coffee where you can sponsor a glass of wine for both of us for $5 or an entire bottle for $15. We'll find either what you want us to the best of our ability, or something that reminds us of you. Or you can donate for as little as $1 a month and join us on our Patreon. Join the cult.
The funerary cult.
We have monthly happy hours that I usually forget about. And we also have a lot of bonus content and some pretty sweet stuff that you can get that's only available to our funerary cult members.
I'm also definitely going to start the next episode with this, but I just want to let everyone know who's listening at the very end, because you're the real ones. We reached our Patreon goal. We exceeded.
I did tell the one patron, which was Anders, whom I love, that showed up to happy hour last night.
Oh,
Or 2 nights ago. It was very nice. We had a lovely chat for like an hour, and I felt very bad for keeping him up, but I loved it.
he's a lovely gentleman.
But I told him, he was very excited. Yes, we met our goal, and I now have to get drunk and talk about Greek gods, which has me panicking a little.
Yeah. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be
So
amazing.
excited. I'm excited and nervous at the same time.
I'm just excited a marketing campaign that we tried actually fucking worked.
Right?
It's amazing. It's amazing
It's
what you do when you
beautiful.
whore out your cat and dogs on videos and beg people in reels.
Hey, it worked.
I'm not mad. Also rate us 5 stars wherever you listen, because it gives us the warm fuzzies and pisses off all the right people. All the people it should piss off. All the people you want pissed off right now, because
yeah.
fuck them.
All of them.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Whining About Herstory. I'm Emily.
I'm Kelly.
And have a spooky day, you creepy little bitches. Bye. Fuck 'em all. I mean, seriously, I'm so fucking over it.